We throw around the word proof all the time, but have you ever stopped to think about what it actually means? In a math class, it feels like this promise of absolute, unshakable certainty. But in a courtroom, well, it's all about getting to justice. So, are they the same thing? It turns out not even close. Let's dig into that fascinating divide between the proof we build and the truth we're all searching for. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly sets up the tension we're talking about. It puts truth and justice over here as these big ideals we're aiming for, and it puts proof over there as the tool we use to try and reach them. But what's so wild is that the tool you choose, well, it completely changes what you end up building. So, to really get a handle on this, let's start where proof is at its most pure, its most absolute. And that's the world of mathematics. Here, the goal is crystal clear: certainty, a truth that you can verify. Okay, so a mathematical proof isn't about some grand discovery of a universal truth that was just floating out there. It's really a deductive argument that works perfectly. But, and this is the key, it only works inside a specific predefined set of rules, what the slide here calls an axiomatic system. You can think of it like a perfect engine that only runs on one very specific kind of fuel. This breaks down the process so well. First, you have to choose your starting point, your model, your basic assumptions. Then step 2, you apply the rigid, unbreakable rules of logic. And finally, you get to a truth. But here's the kicker. It is a model-dependent truth. That means it's 100% certain, but only within the game you've decided to play. And that choice, that limitation, creates what we can call the mathematical gap. Now, that word epistemological sounds fancy, but it just means it's a gap in our knowledge. It's the space between the perfect certainty we can create inside our logical system and the messy, complicated, real truth of the universe that our system is just trying to describe. All right, let's hit pause on the abstract world of numbers and jump into something, well, a lot messier: the human drama of a courtroom. Because here, the entire purpose of proof gets flipped on its head. It's not about finding some universal truth anymore. It's a practical tool designed to achieve something way more complicated: justice. And just look at this definition. It is a world away from the math one, isn't it? Legal proof isn't some cold logical equation. It's a persuasive narrative. It's a story built from evidence, sure, but it has to be compelling enough to convince other people, a judge, a jury, that it's the right one. This slide just puts it in such stark contrast. On one side, you have math, which is all about formal deduction. It's an objective process. Anyone can repeat it and get the same answer. And on the other side, you have law, which is about persuasive construction. It's subjective, built on who tells the better story with the evidence they have. And this, of course, leads us to the legal gap. Unlike the one in math, this gap is ethical and practical. It's that gap we all feel sometimes between a final verdict, which is a legal procedural outcome, and the moral ideal of real justice. It's the reason why sometimes what can be proven in a court of law and what feels truly right just don't line up. So, we've explored both of these worlds. Now for the fun part. Let's put them right next to each other and see just how different they really are. I mean, this is the big question, right? How can one little word, proof, mean such radically different things in two systems that are so important to how we run our world? This table just lays it all out so clearly. Look at the primary goal. Math wants verifiable truth. Law wants societal justice. Their whole purpose is different from the get-go. And the nature of proof, one is a formal deduction like a perfect logical chain. The other is a persuasive narrative, a story. But my favorite part is their relationship to the ideals. Both are aspirational. Math hopes its models get close to real truth, and law hopes its verdicts lead to real justice. And that's why the gap in math is about what we can know, while the gap in law is about what is right. So, what are we supposed to make of these gaps in our most rigorous systems? Does it mean they're failures? Well, not exactly. In fact, they reveal something really profound about how we try to make sense of everything. And right here, this is the core takeaway. Proof isn't some magic key that unlocks absolute reality. It's a powerful, it's an essential, and it's a beautifully human invention. It's the framework we use to build order and meaning for ourselves. And its so-called imperfections, well, they aren't bugs in the system. They're features. This quote just says it all. These gaps aren't a sign that our systems are broken, they're an honest reflection of our own human limitations. They are a humbling and I think necessary reminder that our grasp on absolute truth and perfect justice is, and probably always will be, a work in progress. So, I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. If even our most careful, most rigorous systems for finding truth and justice have these gaps baked right in, what does that say about the certainty we feel in our own day-to-day lives? It's a heck of a question. Thanks for digging into this with me today.